Hey, today I'm at one of Norway's famous stone circles in the southern part of the country, out here at the Hun. And I'm out here to share with you a bit about ancient stone circles and how my time with native medicine people and understanding their medicine wheel helped me understand a bit of how to interact with stone circles. So if you happen to live in England or Scotland or Ireland, Wales, or in anywhere in Northern Europe, and you have stone circles in your area, then you have a chance to maybe access them in a little better way. The first thing to understand is stone circles are built on energy lines of the earth. They're specifically chosen to be in a specific spot. And you can think of the stones almost like acupuncture needles in the earth. So the stones are acting like the same way an acupuncture needle works in Chinese medicine on the body. You can also understand these to be native Indian medicine wheels without the inner spokes. And in a native Indian medicine wheel, each stone in the wheel has a very specific purpose and a very specific teaching, and actually contains a very specific energy. We're here at the Hun, and I'll show you around in a bit. There are 9 stone circles left here of what was once a gigantic site. And while there's an energy for the site, there's an energy for each circle, and there's an energy for each stone. The stone I'm with here will be very different than the stone I would be with over there. So each stone also carries its own energy, just like in a medicine wheel. The third thing to grasp is that these, for example, sites are thought of as Viking Age sites in Norway, but they're not. They're much, much older. There are Viking graves that are here, but similar to people buried at cathedrals all over the world, they didn't build the cathedral, and they weren't part of the initial process of the cathedral. They just wanted to be buried at a sacred, holy site. And that's very similar to what you have here. There are burials here, but certainly the burials are not the people who built the site. The sites are built with near perfect geometry. In fact, I was here with a gentleman from Germany 5 years ago. He's tracking stone circles around the world, and he had just finished measuring this entire site and showed me the various geometric harmonies, the astronomical alignments, and the very specific pi and phi ratios that exist within each circle and within the site as a whole. So I'm just going to take you around the site, and as we do, I'm going to share a couple of ideas of how to work with stone circles and how to be a part of them. So I'll just take you here for a little visit around. As you can see, the Hun is quite a very large site. There was 9 circles here. I don't think you'll see it really well from this angle, but it does serpent along the landscape. And this eventually, I tracked this all the way back to the sea, which is maybe about a 5 to 10 minute walk. And you can actually follow where the stone circles had been all the way to the sea. And I'm assuming there might have been 50 or 60 of them here originally during the ancient times. What I learned from coming to from medicine wheels is, when you come to a stone circle or a stone circle site, you should walk once around a stone circle clockwise. What you're doing is you're not only acknowledging the site, you're acknowledging the stones, but you're in effect turning it on. That's the best way to describe it. By walking clockwise, you're kind of turning on a switch. You don't need to do this for every stone circle. Like I say, there's 9 of them here. You can see them move along to the stones across from us as well. So you wouldn't need to walk around every single stone circle that's here. You just need to walk around one, and that will, in a sense, turn the site on. You can, when you're leaving, you can, if you want, walk once around it counterclockwise to kind of switch it off, but that's not as important. You may notice at Stonehenge, when people go to Stonehenge during the day, they all walk around the site. The way the pathways have been set up and the way that you move from the car park, you walk around it counterclockwise. So everybody, as they go to Stonehenge, is turning Stonehenge off. Every time they go there, they're actually making the site less and less. And you can go to my video on Stonehenge and you can hear some of the problems I wrote about the secondary construction that happened in the 1950s. Other than that, the next most important thing at a stone circle is just kind of to do what I'm doing. You find your specific circle that you feel comfortable at, and then go find your specific stone. That's also really, really important, to not just be in a circle that matches you. You want to be with the right stone. So one day the stone I'm with here might be the right stone, but in The next day it could be this one over here, and then it could be this one over here. It could be one of the ones in that circle over there. So it's also finding your stone. And eventually I do have stones at this site where they're mostly the ones I will come and sit with. I have like a connection or a friendship to very specific stones in very specific circles. Beyond that, it's just you have to come, you have to have time. I find it takes me about 30 minutes to an hour before I will start noticing that I will begin to connect with the site and begin to feel grounded at the site is the best way of describing it, to kind of let the daily modern world leave and begin to just feel calm at the site. The next thing then is then you need time. You need to come day after day after day. You need many days at a site for it to start opening up its wisdom to you, for it to start sharing the knowledge. But any time you're going to spend at a set of stone circles, it's going to be quite energizing. This one is specifically, there's another one further up the road that's a more calming site. I usually take people there. When I bring groups, I bring them to that site first because it's a more calming. You move into the energy easier, and this is a more serpent-like site. It's a more energy site. So, but it takes a while to not only to be here, but to allow yourself to kind of merge with that energy and get comfortable with the specific energy of that particular site. Each place will be different. There's another one across the border in Sweden that I take people to that is just a beautiful healing energy. People go there and they kind of don't want to leave. So that's about all I think I wanted to just share with you, is just discuss a little bit about the stones and show you the beauty of it. And of course, there's pretty much nobody here, a few people that just walked by, but generally when I come here I have these places all to myself, and it's a nice way to spend a day just sitting in the ancient world, sitting in the ancient energy, sitting in a time that's at least 3,000 or 4,000 years old, and just being within the wisdom of the site. This was the ancient church, this was the ancient hospital, this was the ancient teaching center, all of it took place in this very spot. So if you have stone circles in your area, by all means, go check them out and enjoy your days, and we'll talk to you when I'm at the next one.